down there's no question on the big issue how looms now for world trading officials. It is, which can they wait following of the joint state by CEO Trump card. For many decades following the other planet warfare, the U.S. was perhaps the largest cheerleader for the progressive liberalization of trading how took location. Currently, the U.S. is the main reason of concern amongst supporters of how trial. CEO Trump card's attitude to world trade is energetic and confrontational, managed by an order of business outlined as economical nationism. It is a center item over the increasing trading stress the 1 week. Several terror how the attitude will erode the framework how has developed in the recent three-room of a age. It is a facility framework relying to a big degree on rules controlled via the Planet Trading Organization, WTO, complemented in agreements amongst groups of countries how ensure yet more profound trading seamless integration. CEO Trump card has shown slight passion for such more profound agreements. He stretched the U.S. out of one how had not been executed as quickly as he took office space, the Trans-Pacific Association, and has endangered to reject else, the Polar US Complementary Trading Treaty. On the WTO, the Trump card authority has been dualistic. In nature, the reason is how the U.S. wore as necessary a more than safe resource of delivery of the nation's own production. WTO rules do allow countries to levy trading impeding to defend domestic safety how would not differently be permitted. His else issue if domestic safety very was the motive and lot critics, consisting the Europe Committee and China, Dong T trust it was. Tariff on imported wash machines and sunny panels were protect measures, actions how are allowed in answer to surges in imports, stipulated they are made in a way how is consecutive in the WTO rule book. More than hard is the suggestion, not yet executed, to goal China consumer goods in tariff since of the nation's estimated allocation of the intelligent characteristic, such as patent and designs, of us companies. But countries are in largest occasion imaginary to use WTO procedures up retaliating on the base of a controversy pain authorizing such a activity. The U.S. has done an formal appeal to the WTO but how just happened recent 1 week. It will be lot months before down there is a governing and though if China loses and fails to perform down there will be a future latency up the U.S. is taking into account credibility to answer. Will CEO Trump card be readily to expect how length? So it is surely probable how the U.S. will leap the gun and solve to go front time the WTO trial rumbles on. How would be difficult to conciliate in the organization's rules. Yet, the reality how the U.S. has begun the controversy community trial can be seen as a mark how the Trump card authority sees the WTO as helpful. It is cost noted how China is remarkable its at first reciprocal beating out of a WTO governing, although down there is a way how can occasionally be made by the rules. It is yet disputable if how regulation very applies in the instance. Yet, the Trump card authority has a amazingly various color on trading following its forerunner. The economical nationism how motivates CEO Trump card and several of his crew is inclined to see some countries as trade unjustly. It sees trading deficits as a mark of weak, as an sign how trading agreements are faulty and unjust. It is real how CEO Trump card has fired the largest powerful vote press the attitude, his ex-head policymaker Steve Bannon. But the disagreements how led to how we're not on trading. And down there are other of such type yet in key official position for trading politics. His Trade Secretariat Wilbur Ross, the U.S. trading member Robert Lighthizer, someone is in accusation of negotiations trading deals, and the CEO's trading advisor, Peter Navarro, CEO of the Domestic Trading Justice, are all of how sculpt. Mr. Bannon's leaving did not represent a discrepancy above the economical nationalist order of business. But the retire of Gary Cohn, as chief of the Domestic Economical Justice did. Mr. Cohn was who seen as resistance how order of business in the authority. The shooting of Secretariat of Country Rex Tillerson reflecting a quantity of disagreements in the CEO consisting the steel and aluminum tariff. Post-Kong doesn't include any at all and, depending on how you compute ordinary tariff several other are reduced rather than the U.S. But surely US tariff are comparatively cheap. Down there are several consumer goods wherever US tariff are top, named in the trading planet as rate peaks. Down there are several in excessive of 100% for agriculture means, and down there is a 25% responsibility on lighting trucks. Does how indicate some countries are take benefit of the US? He's disputable. The main type amongst trading economists is how the major losers of tariff are buyers of the struck consumer goods in the nation how imposes them. They include to pay more than, each since they buy imports of a provider how has to restore the price of the tariff, or of a national provider who is capable to lift their prices as outcome of the protect given by the tariff. And occasionally the buyers of the struck consumer goods are business community how use them as input. Steel and aluminum are cases in spot. So down there is a instance how would be backed by lot trading economists how the major stakeholder of low US tariff is the US himself, especially us consumer. But CEO Trump Card's attention has been on producers, firms and employees, who see themselves as creature hit by low price, and they claim, unjust overseas contest particularly of China.